guys, it's Thursday. As always, I thought we'd do some baking since you stopped by. And today we are going to do a pumpkin spice cupcake. I know we've been on kind of a cupcake kick as of late, but pumpkin spice, it's the season, right? And you can't really argue it. It's you either love it or you hate it. I'm not a big fan of the coffees and the kind of the commercialism of it, but I am a fan of the kind of warm fall feeling it gives you, which I think is amazing. And today I think we thought we'd put that in cupcake form with a cream cheese icing on top, a cinnamon cream cheese icing on top, which I think is going to be fantastic. If you're new to my channel, this is your first video, I hope you get something out of this video. I hope you check out some of my other ones and even consider subscribing. If you're returning, I hope you also welcome, but I also hope you consider subscribing. And if you are one of our several new subscribers, thank you. Thank you for becoming a part of our community. If you are new and this is your first video, we are basically a channel of just being a good neighbor and, you know, doing good for other people. You know, getting to know other people. I think that's important. And we do that through food. You know, food and being nice. So anyhow, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And yeah, comments always welcomed. Always. Just be polite. That's all I ever ask. Just be polite. I will give you all your measurements in cups, tablespoons, and teaspoons. We also do them in grams, so that way everybody can play along. So that being said, let's go ahead and jump down to the counter here, and we'll start making these cupcakes. So they're really easy. They don't take long at all. All right, hold on for me just 1 second. Okay, I am down here at the counter. Let's talk about what you need to do first. First thing you need to do is set your oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I think it's 180 degrees Celsius. And you're going to take your cupcake pan and you're going to go ahead and stick your liners in there. This recipe says it'll make up to 18, but we'll see. I'm going to shoot for at least 12. I do have another cupcake pan, a muffin pan, sitting off in the dining room there, just in case we get more than 12, but we'll see. So you will need at least a couple bowls and a whisk to make these cupcakes. I'm going to use my stand mixer because I can. You can also use a hand mixer. Basically, as long as you have the ability to stir, you should be able to make at least the cupcakes. Alright, so first thing we need to do, in a bowl here, I've got some flour. I got some all-purpose flour. It is a half a cup, 60 grams. And to that, I am going to add, right here, I've got two teaspoons of pumpkin spice at 4 grams. I have got 2 teaspoons of cinnamon at 4 grams. I've got 1 teaspoon of baking powder at 4 grams. I have got a half a teaspoon, 2 grams of baking soda, and 3/4 teaspoon, 3 grams of salt. And I'm going to go ahead and mix those, get those in there. And we are just going to go ahead and mix those up. You'll have to excuse me. I don't think it's a cold. I think it's more, well, it's sinus related. But my nose is stopped up, my ears are plugged. So if I sound weird, I apologize. But it is what it is. All right, so we go ahead, got that mixed up. So we're just going to set that to the side. All right, fair enough, right? Easy peasy. So the next thing we're going to do is in our stand mixer, pull it over here. I'm using a paddle attachment for this. I like always, for the most part. And to this, I am going to add one half cup of regular non-flavored oil, like a vegetable oil, in here, and that is 125 milliliters. A half cup is. We are going to add 2 tablespoons, 40 milliliters of maple syrup. Yeah, you could probably also use golden syrup if you have it available to you. That would be good. We don't have it here. I have to order it off of Amazon, and I don't have any, but maple syrup is what the original recipe called for. I am going to add vanilla. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon, 4 grams of vanilla, and that's just vanilla extract. Now I use a baker's extract, not just a regular old vanilla extract. Baker's extract, it allows you, it holds the flavor. Regular vanilla extract, when you bake with it, sometimes it can lose its flavor. And then I'm also going to add a half a cup, 100 grams of plain old sugar. This is kind of a dump and go recipe. It's kind of cool. If I can get it all out of there, there we go. And then I'm going to add a half a cup, 110 grams of light brown sugar. And that's lightly packed brown sugar at 110 grams. And then the last thing I'm going to put in here is going to be 3 large eggs at room temperature at 150 grams. And then we are just going to mix this up until it's all well combined. So we'll go ahead and kick that down in there and we'll get our mix. Alright, we got that all mixed up and combined. Go ahead and give our bowl a quick scrape here. I was just sitting here thinking, this recipe pretty much has everything that screams fall in the food world in it, which is kind of cool, I think. Alright, make sure we got that all mixed up. Now the last thing I'm going to add to this is 1 cup, 213 grams of pumpkin. I'm using my own pumpkin, but you are more than welcome to use canned pumpkin, obviously. And it's about a half a can. And we want to get that incorporated in there. Alright. We've got that nice and combined, which is awesome. Go ahead and scrape this real quick, make sure we don't have anything sitting on the bottom. Alright, we are good. I'll wipe my hand off here real quick. Alright, so the last thing we need to do is put our dry ingredients in. So we will go ahead and get our dry ingredients in there, and we'll get those till they're just combined. Okay, we got that nice and mixed, well combined, and that's it. I mean, as far as that goes, yeah, that is, I mean, it's just that easy to make the batter. There is our batter right there, looking very fall colors. So let me get this straightened up a little bit, and when I come back, we will put it in the pan, put it in the oven, see what we have to do to bake it. All right, be right back. All right, got our pan out, our tin out, our muffin pan, and all I'm using is just a standard ice cream scoop, and it's going to give you probably close to 55 grams per cupcake. Now they do make an official cupcake scoop, so to speak, and we're just going to fill these up 2/3 of the way full. All right, 2/3 to 3/4 of the way full, I guess I could say. And our batter is really loose, so it could easily make a mess, so be careful. Okay, so we got our pans full, and now all we got to do is get them in the oven. So let me get these in the oven, and we'll talk about how long to bake them for. Okay, got those in the oven. So now we're going to talk about how long to bake them for. So we got them in the oven. I did only get 12, and I probably filled them a little too full, but we'll find out. And I can tell you I did it on purpose, and I mean I kind of did, but I wanted to be able to show you something. So the reason why you fill them 2/3 to 3/4 full on most cupcakes is because you don't want them to come out the top. then they become a muffin, which is fine. I mean, in this case, they would make a wonderful muffin, I believe. But we're gonna bake those for 18 to 22 minutes. Now I know in my oven, 18 to 19 minutes is about standard, but since your oven's probably not like mine, as we all know, we could have had ovens made on the same assembly line, same day, right next to each other, and they'd bake completely different. So 18 to 22 minutes. You'll want a toothpick test them, which means we'll stick a toothpick in the two center ones, and they should come out clean. Maybe a little bit of crumb on it, but no batter. So when I come back, we'll have taken these out of the oven. We'll check them for with a toothpick and talk about what to do next. All right, be right back. Okay, timer just went off. Let's go ahead and get these bad boys pulled out. Ooh, they look beautiful. But I have not turned the oven off yet because we don't know if they're done yet, but there we are. And we'll go ahead and set them down here on the tray, and we can get a toothpick. I know if I was a real professional, I'd have had these out already, but I don't, and I'm not. So, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put our toothpick down in there, pull it out, and see how we are. Nothing on the toothpick. You know, just a very little small amount of crumb on that one. We'll test the other center one just in case. Yep, we are good to go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let these cool. I'm going to turn my oven off. I'm going to let these cool for about 5 minutes in the pan. After that, I'm going to take them out of the pan and let them cool to room temperature. So when I come back, we will go ahead and make our cinnamon cream cheese icing to put on them. All right, I'll see you here in a second. All right, so cupcakes are cooling. Yeah, they've been cooling for a minute now, and I actually had an emergency downstairs. Real quick, some of you may know I kept fish. Well, I still keep fish, but that was kind of the primary start to my channel, and I still have some of those fish, believe it or not, after 5 years, 5.5 years. Some of them are 10 years old, but one of my heaters gave out in one of my tanks, and it shot the temperature in my fish tank, the one fish tank, through the roof. And I went downstairs, my tank was kind of cloudy and all the fish were swimming at the top, and when I touched the water, it was blazing hot, so I had to go and do a quick water change. But anyhow, so the cupcakes are cool. Now what we gotta do is make the icing. I digress. So what we need is to find the recipe, because I don't remember the grams to all of this. All right, so we have got 2/3 a cup of butter, and that is 134 grams, and I've got 8 ounces, 453 grams of cream cheese. The first thing we want to do is pop that in the mixer, and I'm using my wire attachment for this because I want to get some air in it and make it light and fluffy, unlike a buttercream where, you know, we run the risk of having air pockets. We should not have that problem. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and cream these. Alright, I got that nice and creamed up. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to scrape my bowl real quick. And because that's kind of important. You want to make sure, especially with cream cheese, and I know I've said this before in other videos, but cream cheese can be your best friend, it can be your worst enemy, especially if you've got clumps in it. So now's the time when you want to start looking for clumps, because if you have some, I mean, your cream cheese should be softened. Your cream cheese and your butter should be softened. Not quite room temperature, because remember, we want it to be a little cool, just so that way we can work with it. We don't want it to be runny as a icing. And I think we are in good shape there. So next thing we're going to do, now that we got our cream cheese and butter creamed together, is we are going to add a couple things to it. So I have 1 teaspoon of cinnamon and a half a teaspoon or a quarter teaspoon of salt, and we're going to put that in there just like such, and get ahead and I've got, sorry, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, just like before. And we'll go ahead and get that in there, and we're going to get that combined, well incorporated. Alright, we got the cinnamon and the salt and the vanilla all incorporated. And we'll go ahead and give that a good whack along the side there, get most of the icing off. And we will give it a good stir just to make sure. You know, like I said, that's, you know, cream cheese isn't easy to play with. You can have lumps, and especially when it comes to icing, you want to make sure that you don't have any lumps, because it's not like when we're making cheesecake and you can we're putting it in the oven. It's going to be what it's going to be. So if you have lumps in it, you're going to have, you know, they're going to taste the lumps. But that's all right. That's all right. So now we got it mixed up, no lumps, we're doing good. So right here I have 3.5 cups, 435 grams of confectioner sugar, powdered sugar, and I have 2 tablespoons of milk. I may not use the full 2 tablespoons of milk, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this sugar in, powdered sugar in, a cup at a time, just like such. And then if it's, because remember we're going to run it through a piping bag, so we don't want a really dense icing, like if we were icing a cake. Well, I mean, it could be, depending on how you ice your cakes. But we don't want this to be horribly dense, and it will be if all we do is just put powdered sugar in it. So what we'll do is we'll pour a little bit of milk in between each cup until it's the consistency that you would like, or I'll like, you know, to run through our piping bag and ice our cupcakes with. Okay, so we got our icing done. I only ended up using a tablespoon's worth of milk, so now I can write that down on my recipe, and I'll know for later, or for next time. And we got that there. So now we'll grab our handy dandy piping bag. Now I'm just going to give this a good stir real quick, and then we'll get it into the piping bag and start icing. Alright, got our cupcakes back out here. Don't those look beautiful? Just absolutely gorgeous. I think so. And see how, even though they were a little tall to begin with, how they shrunk down? And they're not muffin topped. They're right up to the edge of the cupcake pan, or the cupcake paper. That's how I like them. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to use, I'm using my star tip to put the icing on with. We'll just go ahead and get these iced real quick, and then we can try one. Alright, there, my friends, is our finished cupcakes. I think they look absolutely amazing myself. Yeah, now, your opinion may vary. That's alright. But things you could do with these, really, you could you could throw some sprinkles on them. Fall colors, oranges, reds, browns, you know, tree colors, basically fall tree colors, in my mind. You know, or just any kind of little decoration on the top, or you can just do like we're gonna do right now, and just leave them plain, which is what I'm gonna do. But you know, if you were decorating them for a party, you know, you could get sugar crystals and do red and orange. You know, do colors that way. The sugar crystals are nice too, because they don't take up a lot of space. You can do more. You can do, I think, in my opinion, the sugar crystals versus just regular sprinkles, I think, are way better. But what do I know? All right, so got the wrapper off there. Go ahead and get that in the trash. Get the icing off my finger. There we are. Right, I'm sorry. Right there's our finished product out of the wrapper. Looking good. So let's give her a try and see how she tastes. That is tender, moist. That cupcake in and of itself is very moist, and where we use the oil instead of butter, because we're gonna have to refrigerate these because of the cream cheese, they'll stay that way. If we would use butter, we put them in the fridge, butter firms back up, so then you gotta let them sit out, which is counterintuitive to the cream cheese icing. So these are gonna go in the fridge as soon as I get done eating this one. Using the whip instead of the whisk attachment instead of the paddle, we incorporated air into that cream cheese icing. Spot on. It's light, it's fluffy, there's nothing dense about it, and that's what we were looking for, hands down. Light and fluffy. To go with the moist and fluffy, I mean, if you look at the crumb on that, yeah, that's a really good crumb for a cupcake. It's very cake-like. Where sometimes cake can be dense. And if we would have overmixed that, it would be dense. So if you do happen to try these for the first time, and they do come out a little dense, that could be why. But I don't think you will. You're way better at baking than I am. So give me a try and let me know if you do. You can leave me a comment down below. Hop over to Facebook. Either way. Or if you have a recipe you would like me to try, I'd be more than happy to try it on here. That way I can share it with everybody. So if there is a recipe you'd like to share and like to see me do, let me know. You can leave a comment down below and that would be awesome. So next week, no idea. No idea. I have like 50 ideas, which is why I have no idea. But we're gonna do dinner and we're gonna do dessert either way. So till next week for dinner and dessert, I love you. I love you very much. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Tell somebody else you love them and you love them very much. They may need to hear it, and it's going to make them feel a whole lot better either way. It's going to make you feel good to tell them too. And if you make them some of these cupcakes, you're going to have hours of conversation and a smile from ear to ear on their face. I guarantee it. So until next week, I'll see you then. All right? Love you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.